Step 1. Print out the leku and arrange some of the longer pieces by matching the letters. So A to A, B to B, and so on. Then go ahead and cut them out. Step 2. Get the longer pieces and pin them to the fabric when it's folded in half. So this is cotton. As you can see here, I fold it in half. If you pin this guy, the back side leku, on the fold here, you save yourself a seam, but you don't have to do that. Put the inside of the back and the front panel off to the side, since you only need one of these and do not need to cut it on the folded fabric. When you cut, make sure you leave a seam allowance. That means cutting along the edge here, not right here. Next, open up the fabric and pin your 2 remaining pieces. Note for the back of the inside of the leku, I like to put the selvage here, because that way, this is gonna be on the inside so you won't see it, but this means you don't have to do an extra hem. This is the selvage. Then like before, cut around, making sure to leave a seam allowance. Then take your 2 back side pieces and your front panel, and you're gonna sew together at the blue seam. The way I do this is I take the back pieces and I pin them sort of backwards to your front panel. What I'll also take to the sewing machine on this strip is my 2 pieces of the back tail. So I have my 2 pieces here, 2 pieces, and I'm just gonna sew along that pink line. So that's all the way down. I pin it. The third thing I'm going to bring to my sewing machine is this guy. If you did what I did and put this on the fold, you won't need to sew it here. But if you didn't, you will need to take the 2 pieces, put them kind of back to back, and sew it together. So as you can see on mine, I have my 2 pieces, but since I did it on the fold, I do not need to sew here. Take this back part and the front one you just sewed and sew them together front to front. This is a piece I've been experimenting with. All right, so you're just gonna lay it over. Since there's no seam here, you don't have to worry about this being the front, but you're gonna lay it like that and then match up all the edges and pin. Notice on the pattern, we're sewing that yellow line right here. Here's what it looks like pinned, and I'm going to take this to the sewing machine. Next, flip it inside out so you can see the right side on the outside, and check your seams to make sure that they are secure. I'm happy with the way all my seams are, so I'm going to move on to the next step. Step number 2 is you're going to attach your inside back of the back leku to your back tail. You're matching up the orange edges together. I like to start here at the tail, and I'm going to just start at one end and start pinning. And you can see here, I have my seam and I'm going to go all the way around. Here is the next step in vinyl. All you're going to do is you want to pin these 2 together, right sides together. I recommend you actually take this back tail and flip it inside out again. So you can pin it. Usually what I like to do is start with the center. So I find the center of the back here, and I'm going to pin it to this part. I just kind of put a pin here in the center. So it stays centered. And then I usually end up doing one side at a time. You can kind of push this inside and then pin along this line. I forgot to film this part earlier, which is why you now see this half painted. When you're attaching your back tail to your main front piece, you're gonna stop with the seam as soon as you get to the very edge of the inner back licou. This is what it should look like. Okay, and then in terms of finishing this, if you are having a fabric headpiece, watch this next part of the video. However, if it's vinyl, all you actually have to do is just cut around your face line, wherever you want that to be, and you are done. This is supposed to remain open so that it has a space for your ears. And just as a reference, this is about how much stuffing I put in. Make sure that there's not a lot of stuffing up here at the top because you need room for your actual head. And you can always take out stuffing from the back if you want your hair in a bun to take up some of that space. So when you put this on initially, you're gonna see that it goes really far down. That's on purpose so that you have lots of extra space. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a seam ripper and basically figure out where my forehead is. So it's about here, my hairline, and I'm gonna rip these seams like right, just like a ½ inch so I can fold the whole thing under. All right, so I'm sewing from the very end where your ears go in, all the way around. A couple extra steps. I'm not going to show you this right now, but if you want to have a bit of elastic here, say you're worried about when you move around, you're worried that it might show your ears, what you can do is get a strip of elastic about 16 inches long, and you just sew it right here, just up to here, and then you tie the ends behind your licou. As you can see, the elastic kind of hangs here, but it's sewn all the way across underneath. I hope you enjoyed my tutorial and have fun being Ahsoka.